All right. Into Milwaukee. Hey, Cassidy, what you got for me? You and me.
Here you are again. Have you found what you're looking for?
I don't know, but I think I'm gonna get your chapter 2 next, real quick.
Do you even know what you're looking for? Track down that desire yet? I've been walking for a while, chasing desires of my own. Or running, maybe, from the things I've left behind. Alone, out here. I spend too much time inside my own head. Can you tell me a hopeful story to lighten my mood?
No hopeful stories for you. Only the story of... The suicide cult of acid heads led by a charismatic man.
Well, I can find that kind of movie theater story at any stop along the road. Change. I've seen a lot of change. Everything, everyone I thought I had is gone. Our friend Pauline, she had a big house and a husband who often wasn't around, so naturally, that's where we went for readings. We were wild, radiant, sweaty, alive.
Good to hear.
All kinds of people came and all of them were poets. All of them with such beautiful souls. Each with so many things to say and the true heart to share them. It's hard to believe that's all gone now. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that?
God, he seems so bougie. Sadness. Well, no sadness for you. I shall tell you a story of the killer pigeons.
That reminded me of the kind of thing I used to write in school, just to be shocking. The space you give to love is the same space you open yourself up for potential harm. That's an old truism, and I'd read all about that kind of thing from an early age. So, it's not like it should have been a surprise to me. Still, I wasn't prepared for how much it all going sideways hurt me as much as it did. The way I felt about Silas wasn't like anything I could remember feeling before.
Okay, gotcha.
The whiplash from that is why I'm out here by myself now. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my...
Sadness story. I'm gonna tell you a story instead about the shootout between the female bootleggers and the cops.
Well, I can find that kind of movie theater story at any stop along the road.
Yep, but you heard it from me.
Authority. Look, one day you start saying things should be this certain way, and you see that things aren't that way, and you get upset. That's where suffering comes from, that mismatch. So, you'd think it would be equally simple to say, things are going to take the form they take, and I'll be okay with it. Of course, that's easy as a concept, and difficult as a practice. Silas introduced me to this Buddhist way of thinking.
Oh, okay. Some Buddhist stuff.
Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my...
Let's see. Let's talk about no sadness for you. I'm going to tell the story of the woman who can make a car run twice as fast as the manufacturer intended.
Well, I can find freedom. Sometimes I feel like I don't know how to use it. When I consider my situation in the mornings, I mean, soberly, I know there's no way to bring things back to the way they were. I think I'll just find my own path. Surely, that's what's meant to happen now that I'm no longer bound to anyone. But how can I? That group was everything I knew.
It's hard to split away from a friend group after something happens, especially if there was like a deeper connection to at least one of the members.
I was cast adrift by what happened, and I can't come to rest. Sometimes I want to hear...
Sadness. That's so sad. Tell you the story of the dog who could bring you anything you wished.
Look, you can't just have a happy ending. A story needs to feel truthful, too. That one didn't. Joy. I've had joy in my life. I used to be part of a group of mad prophets, rabble-rousers, channelers of holy knowledge. We'd get a couple gallons of wine, bring them over to our friend Pauline's house. Then we'd shout these incandescent verses to each other for the land and the sky.
Ah, speaking in tongues.
We were loud late into the night. What good would those words do if they didn't reach the heavens? I miss the old group. I really do. I still have that image in my head. Pauline's house, the poets, Jess, me. But on top of them all, there's Silas. In my memory, he looms, he haunts. You ever meet someone so far above everyone else? It's like they were from a different plane altogether.
Ah, he was in love.
That was him. A divine presence among normal human beings. Silas was part of the group, but at the same time, he wasn't. He was better than any of us. Wiser, gentler, stronger. We all held him in respect. We were in awe of his power as a writer, in reverence for the beauty of his soul. I still love him. Look,
Aw.
I'm headed out this way. If you find yourself out there, maybe we'll meet again.
Good to know. Alright, now we're on to his chapter 2, which is called, what? Cassidy's verse. Oh, Moaning Low. Moaning Low, I see. Oh, let's see, which one we open up this time? Policeman Dar, listening on the man on the radio finishes a wild story about the dog who could fetch immaterial things like love or even self-esteem. Damn, I want that. This stranger story of the dog who could bring you anything you wish, but with some bits left out and replaced. Damn, I wish I had a dog like that. Impressive. Alright, let's get some stories out there. Let's see. Twin trickster spirits who brought ruin to the farms. Royal Duck March, sure. We get a few of these out of the way. Killer pigeons for... let's just get... Cat aroused by the taste of flesh. There we go. That's not a weird one at all. Totally not. The other ones I had. Woman who worked twice as fast. Bus which only lost souls could see. Then we had... the suicide cult. For the 60 unidentified corpses buried together in one cemetery. I have had that one for a long-ass time. One more. The shootout, the bootleggers shootout. Sure, the Cannibal Corn Cold of Nebraska. We'll go with that one, just because that sounds fun. Alright. He is over there. And where's the nearest river crossing? Where is the nearest river crossing? Oh no, are you going to be one of those difficult ones? Are you going to be one of those difficult ones? Where there's, like, nothing on a way to get to you? Oh, you're going to be one of the... You are one of the... Oh, you're one of those really annoying ones. You're, like, smack dab in, like, an... Oh, that's fucking annoying. You're, like, right there, but I can't get to you. That's some hot garbage. Ah. Oh, that's a walk. All right, we're here in Cedar Rapids. Time to talk with Cassidy again. That took a few minutes. That was annoying. All right, Cassidy, let's talk. Moaning Low.
Where are you headed now? I'm thinking about getting out to the coast again. I want to get to Frisco and gaze upon the Pacific Ocean like in days past. Contemplation of water is an ancient healing practice, you know?
I see.
The vastness of the sea makes the personal wounds we suffer seem small in comparison. That's the theory, anyway. Silas told me that once. You know any stories that will make me laugh? A tall order, I know.
Stories that make you laugh? I'll tell you about the 60 unidentified corpses buried together in one cemetery.
Words are power, friend. So, use them carefully. My first tip, avoid the maudlin.
Alright.
When things change, trying to understand that something is truly lost is difficult work. To think, I didn't mean enough to Silas for him to want to stay with me. Or, his fear got the better of his desire, and he settled for something he didn't want instead. Or, I meant nothing to him anyway. It was all a lie.
Aw.
These things do a number on me when I'm out here on my own.
Yep, isolation and loneliness can do wonders, sarcastically, for your psyche.
Last town I stopped in, I didn't have cash for the bookstore. Do you have any stories like those paperback adventures?
Paperback adventures? How about the bus that only lost souls can see?
Exciting.
Damn it.
That's not the kind of thing I can write, but I like hearing it told. A free mind ponders all subjects without fear. A free soul expresses its spirit without restraint. Silas had that kind of freedom once, or I thought he did. Something changed in him, though, and he began to shrink away from that. He became introspective and morose. What happened? In darker moments, I wonder if Pauline turned him against me.
Yeah, that's not a great route to go down mentally.
No, that's just my imagination. Alone, out here, I spend too much time.
Hopeful story? I don't want to give you a hopeful story. I want to keep doing sad stories. Dust creature.
Listen, these days, I can tell when a story's heartbreak isn't authentic. Looking back at the past, well, it's just like reading a long list of times I was a fool. Here's an example. Pauline used to write too. Silas and I agreed she wasn't particularly talented. She tried too hard to sound like the writers we adored back then. The attempts were so stodgy sounding I called them the Pauline epistles, which made Silas laugh and laugh.
Oh, that's rude.
Back then I thought I was so high up, so secure, but in the end he still chose her over me. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness.
Sadness, eh? Well, instead of a sadness, I'll tell you about the underground network of communist metalworkers.
Look, you can't just have a trust. Well, people confuse states of mind with times gone by. You can talk of rebuilding trust, but it's never quite the same once broken. Certainly, I'll never go back to those old, idyllic days. I used to have this belief in our immortality through our art, our words, our deeds. I thought there was power in that. Silly of me, certainly. Go ahead and tell me. I'm ridiculous. Sometimes I want to hear a
sadness. You will not get that sadness, though, because I'm going to tell you about the water that turned into wine for the thirsty pickers.
That one.
Damn it!
Was like
That
cold.
sounded fucking hopeful.
Nothing
Fuck
but
you, game.
sorrow.
Come
I
on.
liked it.
Come on.
Maybe the traps I've fallen into are the ones I made myself. Maybe what I think happened didn't happen at all.
I
And
am
I'm the
really
one
bad
still
at
a
this.
monster. Things did get heated once or twice, maybe. But I was upset at being shoved away. Just like that. After so many years. Silas and Pauline just decided to be normal one day. And that it was necessary for me to disappear from their lives. Surely it's understandable that I'd be upset. I suppose after a while I'll start to realize how little I can change and accept myself as an uprooted poet howling unheard into the winds, seething with anger and pain. Exiled to a little island of suffering surrounded by storm clouds. Really just a sad little bum that nobody cared about. That sounds about right. I've gone on long enough. Next I'm traveling out this way. Keep an eye.
Damn it, I didn't mean for it to fucking do that. God, God. I am bad at predicting what these stories are gonna be, what the stories are gonna be that are gonna cause that. Ah, God, that's annoying. But I want to hear more about them. I mean, I'm glad for it for, like, time reasons, but I really wanted to learn more. I really want to hear more of those little epithets before it switches over. No, that's, I already have that one out. He's already heard that one. The deer that cannot be touched by human hands. There we go. What was the other one I did? I did you. Bear that eats the rich. Did you. Architect. I did you. Kill travelers and cure their meat. There we go. Alright. Onward we go, then I guess. Fuck. Well, at least he's closer this time. Wonder what he's gonna look like. Oh, we'll see, won't we? Alright. What you got for me, Cassidy? What do you look like now? On the country miles.
Looks like I'm still me and you're still you.
Okay, so he has a chapter 4. Alright.
A pity, isn't it? To be stuck with ourselves like this. All this wandering, and I couldn't escape the one thing I wanted to be away from more than anything else. I suppose that in the end, we all have to settle down inside ourselves. But I don't want to be the way I am now. If I could, I'd live inside the past. Inside the time Silas and I had together. Back on the road together. Forever. Sometimes I want to hear
a sadness, eh? You won't get a sadness. Instead, I will give you a story of the strange shapes Americans will take in the future.
Look, you can't travel? Well, that journey was incredible. We went from San Francisco all the way to Albany on that trip. It took us about a month. We didn't rush. Silas isn't an outgoing person, nor is he particularly tall or commanding. But something about him makes everyone want him to like them. It meant people were always chatting him up, giving him good information, letting us know about places to stay. Those same people would look me up and down, then go back to talking to him.
Oh.
Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any stories like that?
Possibly. But I don't want to give you sadness. I want to give you... the Saint... Let's see. I want to tell you... about the story of the Lost Ring in California. Or no. The rodeo around San Antonio. Please don't be a sad story.
Well, I've had good fortune. Plenty of it. Have you ever met someone who gave you exactly what you needed at a certain point in your life? It's an exalted feeling. Even though it's gone now, I've been lucky. I have to recognize that. It makes me hope others can live that story too. I want everyone to experience the presence of another who feels so correct, so ecstatically made for them, no matter how fleeting. I need an optimistic story right now. Something to put a smile on my face. Can you think of any like that?
Optimistic story. Let's go. I don't want to give him an optimistic story, so instead I'll give him a sad story. I'll give him the story of the bull who's... No, that's optimistic sounding. The house that only appears when thunder strikes.
That's a good one.
Damn it! Fuck!
I do reach up like that towards hope. This country, I don't think it feels the same way to me now that it did when Silas and I first traveled together.
Damn it!
After a while, you hear so many sad stories. The tales start to blend into each other. It's all part of the texture of the country, the grand story.
Exactly.
But when you experience it all, one thing after another like that, their power wanes. People think it's sad, but unremarkable. But that's why a writer like Silas is so important. He can take stories and place them inside the sacred space they deserve. Sometimes I want to...
Sadness. I'll give you the brothers who sought... I'll give you the story... Girl who saved chickens from the stew pot.
Hey, you don't need to try and ship. Who's my family now? I tried to get on with a few other people. Writers and poets and artists. Types that are supposed to have certain things in common. But I was never accepted into artistic communities. I was too unwilling to put up with all of the bullshit. It went both ways. I tend to annoy other writers for some reason. So I only ever had that one little group. Them and, of course, all the hobos and bums of the world. Sometimes I want to hear a sadness that resonates with my own. Do you know any?
Do I know any stories about sadness? Probably. I'm gonna instead tell you the story about the well-heeled hobo.
I don't think I'm in the intended audience for that joke. Silas could see I was trapped. I was a shy kid. Silas helped me realize there was something more than just being frightened of things, of people. Traveling with him unlocked a new world. I'd never felt so free before. The way I was slipping in and out of different situations, others' lives. In the normal, day-to-day, you think you're doing fine, but you're really imprisoned. To break free from that is a holy thing, a beatific thing. The sun will be rising soon, up at dawn every day, thinking about how to get to the next town, how to eat, where to rest. It's like the trip I took with Silas, but I'm on my... If your trip takes you out this way...
Alright. Awesome. Alright, so he's back up that way. Alright, he's back on that side of the river, so at least it's not that far. Maybe if he just keeps going between here, St. Louis and Cedar Springs, it won't be as annoying. So back up we go. Alright, there you go. There you go. You know what? God, the game is chugging. There you go. Alright, there should be something up here that I should be able to... Ah, here we go. We'll grab this real quick first, though. Story about the revenge of the passenger pigeon. It's the story of the killer pigeons. Alright. Good to hear. Alright, Casty, let's keep talking.
I'm glad to see you. It's some powerful coincidence that we meet again, isn't it? We're lucky to build a story like this of our times meeting together. The other trip, my journey across the country with Silas, that's the only other story of travel I have. Such a huge story, so clear and purposeful. It shines like a light. I'm just the moth that orbits it. Sometimes I want to hear
Your sadness. Instead, I'll tell you about the farm where it was always dark and they grew mushrooms and nightshade.
That reminded me of the kind of thing I used to write in school, just to be shocking. The past, well, the things I hoped for back then never really came to be. The novel Silas was working on was going to be a great, long epic that would show us this country in all of its grandness and its squalor.
Oh, almost like what I'm doing.
Its beauty and its profound ugliness. A portrait of a nation transforming, convulsed with want, buckling as it fought itself. He never shared any of it with me, though. He wanted to keep that close to him. Called that very private. Sometimes I want...
Sadness that resonates with you, I see. Did I already tell the cannibal one? I'll tell you about the man who robbed banks and gave money to farmers.
Hey, you don't need to try. Did Silas ever imagine a future with me? Why did a genius like Silas see in me in the first place? He never said anything directly about my work. Other people came to him for writing advice, and he would suggest changes in diction or grammar or tense, and they'd go away happy and leave him alone. But Silas and I usually just talked about the weather, or people we knew, or how we'd get to the next city over. What he taught me was hidden under the surface, like a cone. Sometimes I want to hear...
Another sadness one. Man, you really want those sad stories right now, my friend. I'll tell you the story about the cat who was aroused by the taste of flesh.
The tragedy.
Damn it.
In that story, it's real.
Damn it.
Have you ever tried writing poetry?
Damn it, that was a strong... Damn it.
My love. Did I overwhelm him? Was it too much for his delicate soul to be caught up in the storm of my love, my desire for him? To have him, own him, make him a part of myself. I dearly wish he felt the same way about me, but I'm not sure that he ever did. It may have been that he just enjoyed the flattery of my worship. And, you know, I was far from the only one who thought of him that way. I need an optimistic story right now. Something to put a smile on my face. Can you think of any like that?
Optimistic story? Sure. Let's go with the story of the Royal March of the Peabody Ducks. No. You know what? Fuck it. It's already at the top one, so it's his eye is open, so fuck it. Talk about the ducks.
That's a good one. We do reach up like that, towards hope. Joy was the life I had with Silas on the road. I don't know what exactly made me want the simple life of a bum, but the pursuit of that felt natural to me after the problems I had had earlier in my life. Hopping on cold train cars that froze overnight, scooping out beans from a tin with our hands. All of that was pure joy. Most people go through life doing a lot of work to avoid the truth. Silas and I wanted to find the truth, to witness it with our own eyes. Sometimes I want to hear...
Sadness, eh? How about instead of a sadness, I tell you about Floyd the amateur coroner.
I don't think I'm in the... When I look back on it, I see how Silas came into my life at a crucial time. It was a time of change. I stopped what I was doing before, working at a company, and was searching for what my real work in the world could be. I wanted to find what it meant to be alive. And then, a miracle. A man who shows me there's a whole other way to live in the world. A way I couldn't have imagined on my own. He seemed so free. It was a hell of a time, that trip I took with Silas. Train hopping, hitchhiking, walking, whatever we could do to get across the country. We talked to everyone, bums and hobos, machinists and librarians, waitresses and cops. We wanted them to show us who they were. Now it's gone, done, in the past. But that's not something I should be mourning, is it? It's something I should be celebrating. My next walk takes me up the road this way.
Oh god, you're on the other...
Where does your road take you?
Oh god. God, it's taking for... God, that's gonna take forever. What is chapter 4 is now available. What's this chapter 4 called? Cassie's chapter 4 is called Let the Words Be Yours. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Story about the legendary Gwen Mitchett, the richest and most ruthless bootlegger ever. My words decided not to work. The female cops with the shootout. The female bootleggers with the cops in the shootout. Not the female cops who were in a bootleg shootout. God, words are just not my forte right now, apparently. Alright. Alright, over through here. Alright, keep going. Oh, can't go through the city. I don't want to enter St. Louis. Keep going. There we go. Keep going up. Come on. Come on, let's keep going up. Alright, we're back in Milwaukee. Should be a spot to level up one of my stories here, right? Go look for that real quick. Level up one of the stories, switch out stories. Again, too. Story about the woman race car driver whose car moves like a streak of chrome lightning. Yep, that one's a good one, too. So now that one's upgraded. Let's go through the stories again. Royal Duck March. Sinner's Church, sure. Not that one. Cat. Mortal Witch and her zombie husband, sure. The Rodeo. The Burt. The Cheating Brothers who were run out of town as a splintery rail. Seagulls. Well, the bank robber. New Jericho, the city founded around the Fountain of Youth. Let's see, not you. Strange Shapes. Daddy Joe. La Llorona. Switch out for Boy's shipless father left him in the woods. Let's see. House of Thunder Strikes for Jailed Shorthorn in Boise, Idaho is milk corrupted flesh. Haley Poe for Sharp-Eyed Jack. Bear That Eats the Rich for Pushing the Bayou. Ghost of the Well-Heeled Hobo for the water that turned into a coyote who could steal your soul. Cannibal Corn Cult, whatever it's called. Army Major. The Farm for the Hoary Raven. We got Wise. I think that's it. Alright, let's see what Cassidy looks like now for us. Let the world be yours. Words be yours. What's he look like?
You want to know something funny? I've been misguided the whole time I've been speaking with you.
Okay, screaming four-armed man trying to ride a typewriter, trying to write with lightning storms. Interesting imagery.
I was in the library in Seattle and I found Ovid's Remedia Amoris, The Cures for Love. There's a part where he specifically advises against traveling alone to overcome a heartbreak, which is exactly what I've been doing for so long. I laughed, a wild, bestial laugh. They came over and kicked me out. You never know what you'll come across when you read whatever you can. Sometimes I want to hear a
sadness, you say. I'll tell you about, blah, blah, blah. I already knows the story. Flip the corner. I forgot about that. A sadness story. So instead, let's try to find a happy story that he hasn't heard yet. Let's tell about the saints wandering the land, pulling lost souls to be saved.
Hey, you don't need to try and cheer me up. Faith. I used to have faith that the road would eventually take me where I wanted to be. Then I lost confidence in that, and it turned out the road went nowhere. But that's led me to an important realization. Now I say, yes, that's exactly it. The road goes nowhere. It's an enlightenment I know Silas would be proud of. Alone, out here.
A hopeful story. No hopeful story. That was a story of the, story of the army major. No, let's see. Not hopeful. Architect ghost who haunts his rival's house in Santa Fe.
Listen, these days, maybe Silas thinks of me sometimes, of our paths together. I hope he does. I'll be disappointed if he's really moved on, if he doesn't give his time with me another thought. I like to imagine him sitting there with Pauline, going on about something, wishing he were listening to me instead. Is that so wrong? I'm sure I won't always be this philosophical about it. I need an optimistic story right now.
Optimistic story. No optimism for you. Only sadness. I'll tell you about the man who possessed the ghost of his dead brother. Possessed by the ghost of his dead brother.
Words are... For a long time, suffering and wretchedness was all I could see. It hurt my work. It's a blinkered view. I'm struggling to see past the storm clouds of my own mental state. Too many sad words and they just flop around and die on the page. If I can recapture some of the highs and pair them with the lows, then I might be getting somewhere. Sometimes I want...
Sadness. A sadness which I will then give you the story of the giant lumberjack who could fell a clearing in an hour.
Well, this country, I learned several times over that it's full of suffering, but there's measures of beauty in it too. The trick is to be able to see both things, to perceive all things at once. Silas could do this to some extent, but I'm not sure that even he could gather the entirety of it in one stroke. These lands are just too vast for that. Sometimes I want to hear...
Sadness that resonates with your own. Instead, I'll tell you about the girls who search for haunted houses.
Look, you can't...
Happy.
Everyone thinks they understand love. I thought I knew what it was too. As a poet, it was my subject, my area of expertise. But really, I had no idea. It isn't about what others do to you. It has nothing to do with that. Love either comes from you or it doesn't, and that's the end of it. It's time for me to go soon. We spent all night long talking. I liked that. I feel like I have better things to say now, and sharing them makes me happier. If you find yourself heading out this way,
Oh, thank God.
Look around for me. I'd like to sit and talk again.
Okay, thank God. He's very close. He's up there. Woot. Thank you for not being too far away. Makes my time easier. Let's see. A story about the empty town where they found 100 smoothly faced unknown corpses. Halfway through, you realize it's the story of the 60 unidentified corpses buried together in one cemetery. Alright, that one's fully maxed out. Alright, Cassidy. It can only take like once or twice more to get you conversed. I accidentally go all in on this one. Oh well. This story is pretty interesting too. I like it. Sorry for not being as commentative as usual on this stuff. I'm just really tired today, but I want to get it done. Let the words be yours.
You again. I'm glad to see you. I've been thinking a new way recently, handling my memories differently, living differently beside them. Maybe traveling alone to forget about Silas was exactly the best way to never forget him. Do you know any story?
Make you laugh. Make 'em laugh. Make 'em laugh. The Bull King who blessed the town for years. I don't think that's a laugh, but please don't be a laugh.
Well,
Okay.
I can find authority. Well, one thing I've learned on the road is that so many people clamor for a voice that speaks to them. They want to see a reflection of themselves, but they don't get that. They get something that reduces them, cuts them down to a little morsel for others to eat. That's to say, there's a lot of bad art and writing out there. This country is in a real crisis of bad art. We need to do something about it.
I don't know. Bad art's pretty important as well. Like, you need the bad art to make the good art even stand out even more. Plus, there can be a great enjoyment in some bad art.
Sometimes I want...
Let's see. New Jericho, the Golden City, founded around the Fountain of Youth.
Hey, you don't need the future. I don't know what's to come after all this, but at the moment I can't bring myself to care. The whole time I wandered alone, I lived in the past and put all of my hopes in something yet to come. I need to let go of all of that. I've decided there's no such thing as the future.
Oh.
It's a healthier way to go about this business of living. Have you heard any
Scary stories, eh? First time you ever asked me about scary stories. I'll tell you a story about the brothers who sought one another for 50 years and their spirits still search today.
Look, I'm done looking for family. It's best not to get too attached to any one group of people. In the end, you'll feel betrayed. I'm not a misanthrope, though. I say only that it's best to keep your expectations in check. There's nothing wrong with being alone, either. It can be nice to be free of ties to others. Sometimes I want...
Sadness that resonates with your own, eh? The love was one of them. Sadness that resonates with your own. I'm going to tell you the story of the girl raised in the wild by a herd of over 100 cunning feral cats.
I'm afraid I don't. It's been a long while since I truly felt joy. But when I look back on it now, I can see that joy was when I was telling Silas about my poems, and he was saying nothing in return. Just watching, his sensitive eyes and silent nods. Maybe I can find something like that again. I finally feel like it's possible. Sometimes I want to hear...
Sadness, eh? Oh, no, I don't want to, no. Sadness, already talked about that one. Let's talk to the story of Sharp-Eyed Jack, who could kill a man from 10 miles away.
That reminded me... Oh, it's like I've been sleeping this whole time. Sleeping or dead. But something's happening. Something's awakening. I have the sense that I need to start putting words down again. It doesn't even matter what the words are. I need to compose. I need to do it as if my life depended on it. It does, obviously. When we first met, I asked you why you were on this road, but I was the one who really didn't know why I was out here. Now I'm off again. This time, to find a place to stay a little while. Not sure where that'll be just yet. I only know I want some place where I can see the water and watch trains go by.
Your own place where the water tastes like wine?
Even at rest, I still need to be near things in motion. They say the Dharma will end, like all things, and the time of its ending has already begun. So what is there for us in this world? Why should we stick it out here? I don't have a great answer to that, but I feel better than I did before. I loved Silas. I still love him. Love him like nobody else. But everyone goes their separate ways in the end. We all have to wander. See you around.
Oh, I finished it? Okay. Alright. I finished it. Nice. What did he give me? He is... a dusty, dried sunflower head. Yep, because that returns me to Chicago. Alright, only 4 more. Well, let's head back to Jacksonville to do our rounds of story gathering. Real quick. There we go. Beautiful. Great time. That was about the girls who could talk to the dead. The story of the girls search for haunted houses. Heavily embellished. Alright, that one's good. Keep that one going. Down to Jacksonville. See. Gonna go and gonna find dun dun down ba ba da bow 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 bum 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 ba bum bum. The diner. Story about the unstoppable Bronco. Halfway through, you realize the story of the rodeo. Yep. Bow 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 bum ba bum 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 bum. A story about the girl who lived with a family of chickens. Story of the girl who saved chickens from the stew pot, but wildly altered. Yep. Makes sense. Biggie, go back over here. Against the wall of smart. Group recitation of the devil-possessed leader and his apocalyptic cult. Recognize the story of the suicide cult of acid heads led by a charismatic man. There we go. So that one should be, yep, that one's fully done. Back over here. Oops. Telling you about the kindly witch whose house arrives in thunderstorms to serve the stranded. It's a story of the house that only appears when thunder strikes, but changed in 3 major ways. Alright, that one's fully done. Alright, back over here. They listened up to a story about the all-powerful king of bulls whose human thralls protected him from harm. It's the story of the bull king, who blessed the town where he lived. Yep. That one's done now. Now we're back over here. After gossiping for a while about the weather and the state of the world, let's see, story. The story of the miraculous canteen which provided water for a whole crew. It's the story of the water that turned into wine for the thirsty pickers, but embellished. Alrighty. That one's going down. Over here. Policeman on the truck. The wild story about the metal workers across America who will rise up and seize the means of production. It's about the communists. Got it. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. About the man, the modern-day Robin Hood who will start a communist revolution. Ah, so it's a tie-in to the other to the other one. Both about communism. Ah, the commies. Here we go. A few ramblings. A story about the secret bus route which ferries mythic creatures across America. It's a story about the bus which only lost souls can see. So now it's about mythological creatures. Interesting. Now we go back over here. More mouth. About Floyd, the nervous serial killer. Trying to reply to the story of Floyd, the amateur coroner. So we went from a coroner to a serial killer. Man, I mean, depending on what circles in the world what circles you favor, that's either an upgrade or a downgrade in the world. So, story about Paul Bunyan, the lumberjack who towered over the forests. Yep. Glad that one got finished. Paul Bunyan was always a fun story for me when I was a kid. There we go. Over here. A story about the aristocratic ghost doomed to mingle with hobos for eternity. It's the story of the well-heeled hobo. Oh, and that's over now too. Alright, so... next up, where to go next? Where to go? I think I want to go back to the American Southwest. So for that, go... was it? It was her to El Paso. Then I want to head west from here. I want to head west from here through here to her. Well, first let's actually just stop here. Let's earn some money. For work. I change on the corner cast. Full cash. Hot Fizz, Wild, give you some money. Excellent. So I think that should save me at El Paso. And over in the distance over there, I think is Fidelina the Curandera. So, switch out a couple stories. Any stories that aren't there? Okay. Do I have any non-open stories in there? Nope. Do I have any other ones? Nope. Nope. Running out of stories that haven't had anything connected to them yet. I need to do more of these ones. The wheel stories. Let's see. Seagulls there. There we go. The other ones for this. Boy the dog whose souls are bound by fate. Got that one in there. Anyone there? Nope. Yeah, there's there. Nope. Paul Bunyan's out. Give him to the man who sought to feed the starving through science. You're good. The bear that eats the rich. Man who travels. Good. Sad stories. Alright. Alright, Fidelina will be the next person I talk to next time, so let's look forward to that, won't we?